Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, I will give an introduction to Altium Designer. Let's say we are going to create a schematic project. First of all, we will select a PCB project in the project category, and then we will need to save the project and rename the project. So we select save as project, and let's say we save it as first project. So save as, and secondly, we will need to add some schematic documents. So there is no existing schematic document, therefore we are going to add a new schematic document to the project. So add new to the project, select schematic, and we have added a schematic document to the project, first underscore project. Then we will rename the project and save as. So while saving as, we will rename this schematic document. So let's say we name it as my first schematic, and then save. So for my first schematic document has been saved, but now you will see that here is a asterisk symbol. This asterisk shows that there is an unsaved change in the project. So let's say we save the project, then the asterisk sign vanishes. It means that there is no unsaved changes in the project. Now once we have created the project and the schematic document, we will place some components. To place the components, we will need to select some libraries. So let's say we have in the libraries category, we have already two libraries installed: miscellaneous devices and miscellaneous connectors. If we need to install some other libraries, we can install. Here you can see that this is the C drive. Actually, in C drive I have installed my Altium Designer software. So in C drive Altium Designer library folder, you are seeing the different libraries. These libraries are named as the manufacturers: Agilent Technologies, Allegro Technologies, Alpha Microelectronics. These are all the names of the manufacturers, and each manufacturer has its own library of components. So if we don't know in which library our desired component is, so we can just skip this step and we can search our desired component. If we already know that, for example, the desired component is, for example, in national semiconductor, so we can select here. So let's say this is our desired library, in which we can find different types of voltage regulators. So we select NSC Power Management Voltage Regulator library, and this library has been added. Now close this pop-up menu, and here you can select one of the three libraries that we have installed. In the first step, for example, we select from the miscellaneous devices library, and we select some resistors. So consider that we have placed some resistors here. If we like to place some more resistor, You can place resistors as many times as we want. So in the second step, for example, we are interested in placing some connectors. So connectors are available in miscellaneous connectors library. So header 2 means a header or connector with 2 pins. Header 3 means connector with 3 pins. Header 2 cross 2 means there are actually 4 pins, 2 in each row. So actually there are 2 rows of pins. So for example, we place header 2. So we have placed a header 2 here, and now we are interested in placing some for example LM555 timer. So LM555 timer is not available in any of these 3 installed libraries. So now let's see how we find the desired component LM555. So we write LM555 and note that the scope of the searching operation is the libraries, as all the libraries on the path. So on the path means the path where the Altium Designer has been installed and where the all the libraries of Altium Designer are available on your hard disk. So press the button search. Here we have found some LM555 components, and the searching process is still going on, but we can stop the searching process here. So we can just select a library, a component LM555 here. So we place LM555 timer here. Now the software is asking whether we like to install the library, because currently the library is not available. The library is not currently installed. If we like to install it, then we can install. Otherwise, if we don't want to install, then we can press no. In any case, we have placed the component, but the library from where we have selected the LM555 timer will not be available in the installed library. So here you see that the number of libraries are still 3 that have been installed and that are available instantly for our use. Anyhow, we have placed LM555 timer, and let us place some more components. For example, we like to place a counter IC 7490. So let us again search LM7490 IC. Actually it is a counter IC. So we are searching. We have found multiple components. So let us stop the searching process, and let us increase the width. Now here we can see that this is our desired component DM74LS90. So let us place this component. Again, it is asking that whether we need to install. So for example, we press yes. Then you can see that now the number of installed libraries is 4, and we have also the logic counter library from where we have selected the component 7490. So now let us place some more components from the from different libraries. From voltage regulator, we select 7805, 7805. So here we get 7805 voltage regulator. So let us place 7805 voltage regulator here, and then we are also interested in placing some other components such as LEDs. So we would like to place an LED. We are also interested in placing some, for example, some capacitors. So let's say we place we have multiple types of capacitors. These are polar capacitors, polar 1, polar 2, actually different sizes of capacitors. So we place a simple non-polar capacitor. We can place multiple components like this. When we like to finish the capacitor placing mode, we can press just right click, and if we like to delete the some components, we can select them, and then we can delete. Now we will place some more components, such as we are interested to place a BCD to 7 segment decoder 7447. The IC 7447 is not available in any of these 3 installed libraries, so we can just search. We can just search from here 7447. Asterisk is actually the wildcard, which means that if there are some components with these digits 7447 with some characters between the 4 and 4. So for example, there are some components 74L47, then it will show all these components 74L47, 74A47, 74DL47, and so on. So let us search. Here the Altium Designer has found 74LS47, so we can just stop the searching process, and we place 74LS47. Do you want to install the library? For example, we press yes. If we press yes, the library will be installed, and the library in which this component is available 7447 it will be installed. So if we click here, see the 4 libraries installed, including the one in which the 7447 is available. To place a 7-segment display here, we can select 7-segment display from miscellaneous devices. So we can write just display. So this is a list of 7-segment displays: yellow common anode, yellow common cathode, green common cathode. So for example, we select red common anode, so we select red common anode here. Now we are going to connect these components. So with this LM555 timer, we can design a multi-vibrator or a stable multi-vibrator. To design a multi-vibrator, we can place the components as required. To place wire, we can select here, place wire. If we like to zoom in, we can just press page up. Page up is to zoom in, and page down is to zoom out. So we are still in wire placing mode, so we can just place wire. So let's say we can connect some more wires. Pin number 2 to design the circuit of a multi-vibrator, a stable multi-vibrator. We need to place some capacitors as well here. We can place it here like that. Now we may need to place ground, so let us select ground from here. And place wire. We put some more connections here. Ground here, ground here, ground here. Connect ground and connect pin number 4 with pin number 8. Place VCC here. VCC is not visible here, so we can just show net name. Now the name of the net VCC is visible. Here I have tried to design a stable multi-vibrator, and if we have appropriately selected the values of these resistors and capacitors, the output of the 555 timer will be, of course, a rectangular pulse train. The frequency of the pulse train will be, of course, dependent on the values of the resistors and capacitors. So let us assume that the output is a square pulse train. So let us assume that the output of the 555 timer is being counted. The number of pulses being out by the 555 timer is being counted by the counter IC 7490. So to count the number of pulses generated at pin number 3 of 555 timer, we connect pin number 3 with the clock input of the counter IC. And then we also may make some required connections. For example, we connect these 4 pins. These are actually reset pins. Reset pins are ground. Connect ground. Connect ground. Similarly, we can select VCC, copy, and Control V, paste. So we can paste here. Similarly, we can paste here VCC, and now we connect the output of the counter IC with the inputs of the BC reduced seven segment decoder. So we place 4 wires here. Now to connect the BC reduced 7 segment decoder with 7 segment display, the simple approach is that we place wires, 7 wires, to connect 7 pins. 7 pins of the BCD segment 7 segment decoder to the 7 segment first wire, similarly the second wire, and so on. So we can place 7 similar connections, but here we are following a different approach. So let us delete these connections. We'll place a bus. So to place a bus, we select place bus. We have placed a bus. Now in the second step we will place we have placed wires, but these wires are not connected with the bus. So in this subsequent step we place bus entries here, and in the last step we will place net labels. So for example, here we place net labels, here net label A, because this output is termed as this output is called as A. So we name this net as A. The second net we like to name it as B. So to change the name of this net, we just press tab, then type B here, and then OK, and then left click. Similarly again tab, rename it as capital C, then press enter here. Similarly, so now I have placed all the net labels. So similar steps we have to follow here. First we place wires, 7 wires, then 7 bus entries, we place 7 bus entries. In the last step I need to place the net labels A, B, C, D up to G. So we can just copy these labels, copy, and then paste here. So we can place here. We will move all these things upward. So we have selected all, and then now it's okay, because the 7 segments are actually from A to G, and DP is not U, it is decimal point. Now we can connect VCC here. We can select VCC, Control C, and then Control V here, and then place wire. Now the main part of the circuit is complete. Now we need to create the power supply part of the circuit. So we can assume that the PCB that we are going to design is getting a 12-volt supply from the external world. So from the external world, the PCB is getting supply from this connector. So let us connect this connector with plus 12 volt. So let us rename it as plus 12 volt and show net name, and place a ground here and connect with the wires. So actually when we design PCB, on the PCB we will have a 2-pin connector here, and at this connector we will connect the external 12-volt supply. Now this 12 volt supply is connected to actually the 7805 regulator, so we can just place it here. And we need to place a ground here. Place wire here. Similarly, place wire here. And the output of the 7805 regulator is of course 5 volt, and the 5 volt is denoted by VCC net, so we can just place VCC net here. This VCC will be of course connected with this VCC, so all VCC ports will be connected with each other. Now apparently the circuit is complete, although we may require placing some capacitors at input and output of the 7805 regulator, but in this lecture I'm not going to discuss the circuit designing, but I'm only interested in describing how can we create a schematic in Altium Designer. So the purpose of this lecture is to learn Altium Designer, not to learn schematic designing, so we'll just skip the capacitors that we may require at input and output of the 7805 regulator. This LED, we have not used LED in this schematic, so we can just delete it. Now the basic a simple schematic drawing is complete. In the final step we can just rename these components, these designators. So because this the designator of this component is U question mark, and this is also question mark, this is also question mark, so rename the designators such that each component has a unique designator. So let us call it U1, we can call it as P1. Similarly, this is R1, this is U2, this is R2, this is U3, and this is C1, this is C2, and we can also rename it as U4, and finally DS1. Now this schematic is complete. I'm not sure that whether the schematic is whether the circuit will be functional or not if we design it, if we develop this circuit, but the objective of this lecture was to make you learn drawing a schematic in Altium Designer. So it's done now. I hope you will find the lecture beneficial. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.